So it seems as if the rally in Virginia is finally over, and I wanted to give my thoughts on what I consider to be a successful rally. So let's go through the ways that I think it was successful. Number one, and most importantly, is no one was harmed. There wasn't any violence, there wasn't any discharging of weapons, despite the mass amount of guns that were on the scene, despite the claim that we had Governor Northam trying to strip people of their rights, and successfully stripping people of their rights by saying that guns weren't allowed in the Capitol building because there were threats of violence. None occurred. I don't care if you're someone who agrees or disagrees with me politically. That's the most important thing. We don't want to see people getting harmed, so I thought that was a very good thing. It went beyond that, though. Not only was there no one harmed, but actually I didn't even see any threats of violence. I didn't see any bigotry, and I watched a lot of these streams of different people were there, and I didn't see any of this. I haven't even seen the media that you know would be promoting if they saw bigotry or threats of violence throwing it out there. So it just goes to show you that this was an awesome rally. Here's the important thing. We don't want to threaten violence. We don't want to engage in political violence. One, because it's just morally the wrong thing to do and is not justified. We could win in the marketplace of ideas. We don't need to use violence to do so. But also strategically, anytime you threaten violence or engage in violence, that allows the establishment an excuse to further strip us of our rights. So I'm glad that they weren't able to take things out of context to do that. In fact, the only thing I saw on Twitter of live feed where one person started saying, a younger person, like, maybe we should jump over that fence and kill someone. And everyone started to condemn that person, saying, get out of here, you agitator. That's not what we're about. So I was really pleased to see that. I didn't see mass racial protests like they said. I didn't see any of that. So everything was very harmonious. I did see some people that were against kind of the idea of the Second Amendment that were there, but there wasn't any violence that was directed towards them or anything like that. And they didn't engage in violence that I saw. So fair enough. Leave people speak their mind. I think those people are completely wrong. They're giving in to government tyranny. But as long as there wasn't violent, everyone got to speak their piece and there wasn't violence. And that's a great thing. Now, I want you to, this is also a reason that this was a victory, because look at all of the people that showed up there. And I've seen estimates anywhere from 25 to 50,000 that showed up. Look at how many people were there and how huge that event was. Many people with open carrying. And we hear, oh, with that many guns, there's going to be extreme violence. There's going to be all this destruction. And there's none. Now compare that to such as an Antifa rally or the things you see in Portland, where there's all sorts of vulgarities hurled at the police. There's all sorts of spitting on people, throwing milkshakes at people, straight beating people, and things like that occurring. None of that happened here. None of it. Yet the media that refuses to point out when we see violence from those groups in the rallies I was talking about previously, they had nothing to say here about how peaceful this was. Instead, they wanted to prompt and say for weeks now that, oh, this was going to be a violent, horrible thing. And when it turned out that it didn't occur that way, well, they just didn't cover the story. So it was sad that there wasn't a lot of coverage in the mainstream media, but who needs them anyways? That's why you come to independent content creators, because we're the new journalism anyways. I also thought it was a success because there were a lot of people that I personally know that are great patriots that went there to speak up for their rights. And that's one of the things we all need to do more in this country. It seems that we've gotten comfortable and passive, and there's been this slow incremental destruction of our rights, whether it be our rights to privacy, which we see things like the Patriot Act usurped, our rights to free speech, which we see are constantly under attack, or our Second Amendment rights, amongst many others. And so it's good to finally show the establishment we won't take this lying down. We don't have to be violent or make threats. We could show that there is strength in numbers and that thousands upon thousands, if not millions in this country, will not stand for the destruction of our Second Amendment rights. And make no mistake, this isn't just a left-right issue. I know plenty of Democrats here in rural Pennsylvania, although they might dislike Trump and don't like him for his personality, or maybe they don't like some of his economic policies. They are strong advocates of the Second Amendment and understand the importance of guns. Many of them own them for sporting purposes, for self-defense purposes, and they understand the importance of defending against governmental tyranny. So I think the fact that we showed today, and not me, I wasn't there, the great patriots were there, they showed today that, look, we're willing to welcome all sides. Disparate groups of people were there. There was no violence. It was peaceful. And that shows these people, yes, we could see how the lies from the media trying to smear anyone who's on the right or anyone who's a Trump supporter or anyone who talks about the importance of Second Amendments as racist, as violent thugs, as stupid people. That's just not true. And that's another way that we win. The way this battle is fought is not through violence, it's not through intimidation, it's through showing that our side is the side that's judging people by the content of their character. We're willing to leave people discuss things. We believe in the First Amendment. We're willing to listen to people have their opinions. It's the other side, it's the establishment that wants to silence people, that wants to use name calling, that wants to use intimidation to make sure that people can't get their opinions out, and so they can further strip us of our rights. So it's important that we sent that signal to the world, and I'm very proud of the patriots that went there and did this. They could have easily sat at home. I have prior obligations with work and things like that, but so many of these people, even beyond that, they had obligations as well, and they still went, so kudos to that. Now, this isn't the end. There's still going to be incrementally battles that occur over and over about the Second Amendment and about the Bill of Rights and our rights as Americans in general. Remember, the Democratic whip, Representative Clyburn, admitted that if there was a vote on the Bill of Rights today, it would not pass because most Democrats would vote against it. He admitted this. And so we have to be vigilant in defending our rights. Even if you're someone who thinks, well, I have no interest in a gun. The Second Amendment is key to protecting the rest of your rights. If you give up on this, this means that the next step they'll take is saying, oh, and also your right to free speech is a danger. We need to censor speech that we think could lead to violence and could be critical of the government. And there'll be a never-ending stripping of your rights. So we have to continue to be vigilant. What can you do? Continue to write to your lawmakers. Let Trump know. Trump has surrounded himself with people that are in the establishment, and that's something that he should be criticized for. But he needs to know, despite what those people are saying about the dangers of the Second Amendment or how the people supporting it are bad people, he needs to know that we're not. That we are the backbone of this country, that we are the people that supported him. And the more we show that, the more show of support we have for things like Second Amendment causes, like at this rally, the more Trump will then understand, okay, I have these people's back. These are the people that voted for me, and these are the people that make this country great. So, and it also shows the establishment, we're not going to let you to pass these laws piecemeal, state by state. We'll be there as a country, as people of this country. It doesn't matter our skin color. It doesn't even matter what party we vote for. Many of us understand the importance of the Second Amendment. And we know the fact that the federal government barely enforces the laws. Again, I showed this stats from the GAO 2017 in previous videos. Of 13,000 cases in 2017, or near there, of felons trying to purchase guns, only 12 were prosecuted. These laws are designed to keep guns out of law-abiding citizens' hands. It's proven by the fact they don't enforce the laws against the actual felons that commit crime with guns right now. So thank you. I thought this was a success. Of course, there's more to do. Of course, some people will say, I wish more would have happened. I think this was great. It was peaceful. No one was hurt. People made their point that defending the Second Amendment was right. It made Northam look like a fool for stripping people of their rights, saying violence was going to occur. And it was better than many of the rallies you see that are directed towards hatred to Trump, which leads cities a mess, which lead to violence and all sorts of threats and division. So, hey, if you like this video, please like and subscribe. I'll probably be doing a special live stream about more of this material if you like this, going more into depth. That'll be at 11 p.m. Eastern time tonight, Monday night. And you can check my stream. I'll have a video up getting ready for that coming up shortly. Like I said, please like and subscribe. There'll be a link here where you can support me on Patreon, where you can support me on PayPal, and follow me on Twitter and BitChute if you like as well. And lastly, I'd just like to say thank you to, I called into the Doug Ducote show. Thank you to him. Thank you to American Joe. Thank you to the Patriot Hour, all the other people that were there on the ground, and the thousands of people whose names I don't know. Thank you for actually going and standing up for your rights and doing it in a civil and peaceful way. It's really an inspiration and a great thing. So thanks everyone, and have a good one.